The Shulchan Aruch makes the following exception for eating meat and milk at the same table. The Shulchan Aruch says if two people who don't know each other are eating meals separately on the same table, for example, they're eating at the same hotel, and they don't talk to each other, they're not interested in each other, they're just sitting there, each one eating his own meal, then it is possible to have a meat meal and a milk meal going on at the same time. By the same token, if they do know each other, if they are aware of each other and they speak to each other, even if they're careful, if they're people who don't want anything terrible to happen, then they should not eat their meals together. Another possibility is that you put down a tablecloth which separates the two eaters. So the Fleischike eater, he gets a Fleischike tablecloth to eat on. And the Milchike eater can eat on the Formica table. So clearly, they're not in this together. They're having, each one is doing something separate from the other. So that, in fact, today, a lot of people buy these placemats, like Fleischike placemats and Milchike placemats, and that. What makes them Fleischiks or Milchiks is usually that you use them for Fleischiks or you use them to designate Milchiks. It's not that the placemat itself really becomes Fleischik or Milchik, but you use it, as I say, to designate, to signify that this is the area for Fleischik and this is the area for Milchiks. Placemats are also a reasonable way to go about this distinction. So we see that the problem is that you don't want people to get confused. You don't want people to eat from each other's plates, something that is not so uncommon today. In fact, you go to a restaurant and you can order a dish and then say, give me 2 plates so we can share it. Sharing is not an uncommon thing. So that, in fact, we have to be careful when we're eating Fleischiks or Milchiks, that the person sitting next to us should not be eating the other kind, and that we should, on the other hand, be relating to him. In fact, even salt shakers, the poskim say, should be kept separate. Because even though the salt shaker, it's salt, that you shake it out of the shaker, it doesn't really. It's hard to say that the salt shaker is either Milchiks or Fleischiks, even though in some theoretically possible manner it might be. But let's assume that the salt shaker that you're using is neither Fleischiks or Milchiks. And then in your own home you use the same salt shaker during the week for a Fleischike meal and a Milchike meal. Still, if somebody is eating Fleischiks and somebody else is eating Milchiks, they should not use the same salt shaker. Because the halacha says, look, this is a serious problem. We don't want people to get confused. And when you share the salt shaker, you might end up sharing other things as well. The same thing is true about the jug of water that is on the table. A jug of water, it's as parab as you could be. You have a cup, and he has a cup. And he could take some of the water from the jug. You could take some of the water from the jug. But you try to avoid it. When you're eating, when you're actually eating, you should try to avoid any kind of commonality of use of condiments or water in a jug, and etc. Because what might happen is that people will lose track of what they're doing. They've just eaten meat and they finished, and now they're eating parva ice cream, and there's the milk ice cream, and today it looks exactly the same, and so who knows? Because you're like trading the salt shaker back and forth, you might find yourself trading the ice cream back and forth as well. And that's something that we would like to avoid.